Hello, everyone, and welcome to a really nice and relaxing stream of a little game that is called Townscaper. Now, I'll let you guys come join in a bit. You know, let's relax together. Let's form some memories together. It's been a hot minute since I've streamed. I've been busy a little bit, working on side projects and stuff. Um, I don't know, I've been having a pretty good time though. I know. It's been nice, having free time. Actually, let's do. That'd be a nice color in the middle of the ocean. I like. Now, what's the thing about Townscaper? Well, here's the thing about Townscaper. I found this game. You know, not to be all hipster or anything, but I found this game before it was popular, so from one of my very near and dear hipster friends who loves really niche games like this. So I was like, you know, I'll buy it when it's on sale. Best few cents of my life I ever saved. Yeah, this game is like stupid cheap. I think it's like maybe like $5 or something like. I don't know. It's stupid cheap. It's really good. It's just nice and chilly. Just make some houses. Just like, oh, I guess that does that, and that does that. Look, there's a little bridge there. And we're gonna swoop with it. Yeah. And then we're gonna swoop around. And then I'll do that. Oh, it's just a very nice, calming, and relaxing game that I've been wanting to play on stream for a while now. There you go. Man, what if I made it like a big, giant, freaking palace of sorts? Oh. Oh. That's fancy house. How would I put that? Ooh. I'm gonna put that. Oh. That's castle. That's cool. I don't know what I did. But I did something. I think I made this. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this way. This works. Actually, no, it doesn't. I want it to be like. And then, like, the two sides are divided. There's been a long, raging war. So, if we're gonna do a long, raging war. Okay, well. Okay, so there are two sides to this conundrum. There is the White House, and then over on this side, we got the other war. This comes from a very long bridge, distances both of their factions. See, very long bridge, not too long, so that way I can still see shiz. Because camera angle in this game could be kind of wonky, I'll admit. Probably one of my some of my gripes, but yeah, very big. Like, if you gotta, like, look, houses are tiny. That's a pretty long bridge. Okay, maybe we'll make it longer. We'll make it longer. We'll divide the families even more. They shall be divided. So while I'm working on one, I can also work on the other. You see, it was a very tragic tale what happened to these two families. Those families. Yes, it's two wonderful families. Two very rich families. One was of the... Oh, what's good? The What's this color look like? I don't like the pink. One was of. See, that's white. I wish there was like a black. We'll do red, cause they're like the. They're not so like the angry family. So we'll do red family. And this was the red family. The House of Red and the House of White. Ooh, I like the sound of that. House of Red differs from the House White over there. Cause one, they're cool and they got like a balcony. We also don't believe in just that single tower in the middle. No. They believe in that. Yeah, not a bit taller. I believe their architectural skills aren't the best. Actually, what if we did this? And then... Bam. Kind of. Okay, what if we just got rid of that? And that. Ah, no, it's just like a big... I like that. I like that. I like that. That is cute. And the little mailbox right there. I feel sorry for the mailman. And so we've got the small House of Red. And we've got the tall House of White. And each of them have been separated by this very long bridge for many, many years. And it's just always been like that. But it's so quiet, you wonder. There's no war going on. There's nothing to see here. Well, that's where the tragic tale starts. You see, Red was always about being creative and being all sporadic. And it's like, no, we'll make things a little bit weirder for the people. And so the people got used to it. Their roads were all janky and shiz. And it was all wonky. But the people grew used to it. Yeah, it wasn't so bad. You got some really interesting stuff with those roads. And people lived happily. Everything was a bit more smaller to the ground. A bit fatter. Like, see? It's a chunky house. And of course they had like the backs to their houses. Always had to have them. Yeah. Because it made them extra cute. Whereas with the White Houses, they had no backs to them. They only saw the sea, for the sea was with them. For them, their roads were as straight and as beautiful as they could possibly get them. The roads were very precise and very well thought out. And their houses were always slightly taller to make up for what they lacked in the back. But that was okay. And they made very little curves. And the curves that they had to do were only to get away from them. We get a star house! Yeah! So cute. Oh, it's so fat and chunky! Oh, so cute! There you go. It's like the main plaza area. It's kind of like the little town. This is like the big plaza area. These are like the weird houses. Like, these are like the houses that are like, no. This is like the main house. We gotta make sure not to stay too close to the main house. Main house is like the main house. This is like the big village area. I'm not good with scale, so it's probably gonna be a lot smaller than it should be, but that's okay. And again, now you're wondering, well, what happened to these families? It's so quiet around here. Well, that's the tragic part. They all left many, many, many years ago. And now you're saying, well, wait, isn't the city coming back? Aren't you, like, building on the spot? And I say to that, well, you see here, I'm recreating the city. I'm recreating what had been. To the White House and the House of Red. And it wasn't the House of White and the Red House. No, no, no. It was the White House and the House of Red. Why? Because why not? As a great Pokemon once said. Yeah. And then let's see. It's so hard trying to make things straight in this game, but I think that's like the purpose of this game. It's like, no. You want your straight lines? Go freaking draw. This game, no straight lines, no straight lines. You can try, but you can't. It's a little infuriating, but I see why they did it. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, that's so cute. Ooh, wait. And then... yeah. The White Houses did, like, weird shit like that. But at the same time, they were very prim and proper. I wish you could, like, hold it down and be like... big line. It's like a star. It's like a starfish. Oh my gosh. And there's another small, big old house. Put another side to it. Yeah. And then there's this house right here. It's kind of there. And then there's this house right here. That's kind of like, whoosh. Well, you see here, sir. And then there's gonna be like this house right over here that kind of gives like a little bit of like a beach area right here for them. It's like, you know what? I'll be nice. I'll be nice and small. I don't have much going on for me right here. No, it's okay. There's even steps leading out. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And this house right here is like, psh. You got what on me, mate? You got what on me, mate? Got the coolest tower in this plaza. Frick you, guy in the middle. The guy in the middle is like, freaking, I had the best view around here for years. And then this guy came along and was like, psh. Alright, and then you got this over here. Now this one. I went to that guy, I was like, psh. Nah, man. No, man. No, man. See what I can do? I can do freaking this. And it's just big competition. I was like, you don't have a pointed tower and you. This guy's like, frick. Still cooler than you. Still blocking your view, stupid guy in the middle. Guy in the middle was like, you said what to me, mate? You said what to me, mate? And this guy's like, yeah, I'm not going to even try and fight that. That's good. And so, add some more boils. And this guy just went all out. He was like, you know what? And everybody was really mad at this guy because he was a douchebag. They're like, you're kind of like the guys over in red. He was like, you think I don't know that? You think I don't know that? You think I don't know that? And everybody else was like, ugh, stupid. And then there's this guy. He's pretty chill. It's like, he would have been me. He's so cool. Then I leave it here, at White Town for a bit. I know, it's called White Town. So it's such a pretty name. It's got like a, you know, it's like White Town. Hey, like, it's like a very, like, seaside-y town name. And then we got the Red Village. Red Village. Yeah. Because Red just has to be kooky and just be like, no, we can't do what freaking White Town, the White House did over there. Where the White House, Red. What did I make? Okay, there's the White House, and then there's the Red. We'll just call it the Red Barn. I know it's not a barn, but we'll call it a Red Barn because Red Town's weird like that, okay? They don't have a main plaza, okay? They're like, psh, needs a main plaza. We are the main plaza. We're freaking fighting for our own cause. Frick yous. You know what? There's some sassy freaking little shiz. And they're like, they're even nicer than White Town over here. Freaking those guys trying to make all their stupid tall towers, and Red Town's like, no. We just expand out. And they can't, you know what? They can't help but see us. They can't help but be like, psh. See that? Freaking guys were just crazy, man. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah. Gotta at the butts. But wait! There's more. And they called now, and they got that free sample of eyeliner. And much more. For you see, they were wrapped around. They went again. And White Town was like, what the frick? What are you doing? That's not good. And Red Town was like, well, you see here, mister. And they wrapped around. And they went round and round and round and round and around. And it was terrifying. They kept going. They kept going. They couldn't help themselves. They just kept expanding. And then they realized at one point, just got a bunch of roads. Where the frick are all the houses? Oh yeah! So they added more houses. And houses they did add. They're like, no, we gotta make these ones grand. We gotta make these ones especially fat. And so they did. And they were awesome. Video enjoyed ones. Oh, this one's adorable. I love it. And then you got this one over here. And this one was like piece of freaking cake. It did something weird with its house, but it was alright. Everyone was like, yeah, that's so weird, Mr. Winston's house. We don't talk about it. But he's pretty cool in our books. Even if he is a little weird. Mr. Winston was like, gosh dang people. And we're like, yep. Yeah, that's Winston for you. And you see, this town had something that the White Town never had. Everyone came back to the very beginning. Right in front of the Red Barn. Even though it wasn't actually a barn. And everybody was really happy about that. They're like, that's so cool. Everybody loved their fat derby houses. Because their fat derby houses were adorable. And it's really cute. I'll get back to what the white side did about it. They were kind of like, Those guys can't see any shiz with their small dumpy houses. They're like, no, see what we got. What you guys lack. We got freaking back porches, boy. The White Town. Scared. They're like, but we got towers. They're like, and these guys were like, yeah, but we're low to the ground. Everybody can see everything. It's fine with us. We're all chill, bro. Just gotta chill out. And White Town was like, no. I won't stand for this. And so they kept going, but first I gotta add some houses right here. Stupid tall house. Perfect. Stupid tall houses were getting all in the way of their shiz. So you know what? They decided to take a chance. And they took down Daryl's house. But they left some of it behind because they thought, it's cool. Daryl wasn't very happy about that. So, he sold all of his clothes for a clothesline. It didn't make much sense to Daryl at the time, but one day it would come back to help him. I don't know if I can move out much more. Rick. See how much more I can move out. And so Lighthouse kept going even further and further and further and further and further and further. Further and further. But then they're like, but at what cost? See, they did the same thing that Red Village did. They just made a big giant road for a very long time. They're like, well, we can't live with this background. We can't do what Red did over there. Freaking their town exists in harmony and shiz. So you know what? Freaking Whitetown freaking divided themselves! Because of course they did. Because Whitetown just couldn't get along with all those big, giant, tall, fancy towers. Because they're so fancy. Alright. Let me just pause for a second here. I'm just amazed I've gone this far. I don't even know if it's any good. But you know what? Ignore I said any of that. We rolling with this. We rolling with this. We doing this. Anyways, so Whitetown freaking divide themselves. And they're like, shiz, how are we going to divide ourselves? We're kind of connected. Boom. And just like that, the next town appeared. Slowly, their roads just trailed off. Whitetown had forgotten why they even built that road to begin with. But this road remembered. They remembered. And it's just a tiny island. A very, very small, tiny island. They're like, we can't be a part of Whitetown. And we can't be a part of Redtown either. So you know what they did? They became a part of them both. And so they're kind of near Redtown, but not enough. And they're also kind of near Whitetown. Not enough. And so they kept growing and growing and growing, growing and growing. And then they became what is known as Greentown. Greentown was full of harmony. Actually, no, it was the Green Village. The Green Village. You see, they didn't really mind all too much the warring faction between the two of them. They were just glad to be kind of their own thing. Small, separate island that occasionally folks from Red and White would both come to. And it's funny how they had a bridge between the two of them, but the real bridge was the island that lay just off the coast. See, there was something special this island did that none of the other ones had done. It had a big, giant dock area. It had all sorts of cool shiz to it. Yeah. Like that. And then its town was really, 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 really freaking big. Like, super duper big and fat. Like, even bigger than the main plaza in Whitetown. Like, it was so cool. Like, man, freaking Greentown prided themselves in such a big, giant area. They're like, no, it's not a plaza. It's nothing like that. We're not gonna be like Whitetown over here with our fancy spanchy shiz. We're not gonna be as chaotic as, freaking Redtown over here with their riches. No. Greentown was a combination of the both. Greentown was the perfect combination between the red and the white. And they did something extraordinary. They combined the fat balconies of the red and the tall, beautiful towers of the white. The big, giant plazas and the weird structure that made no sense over in red. I give you. Almost. Still want to make it big fatter. I know, I'm ruining the story here. Freaking, but it takes time to build this. And if I go fast, that happens. Alright, and a few more houses like that. Okay, I'm keeping this one. That one's cool. That one's staying. And you get these weird, crazy structures. I'm gonna trail off. These were the back areas of the Green Island. Green Village. Those are the ones that everybody was like, yeah, they're cool. And so, I will now create for you Greentown. Greentown soared above the clouds, miles high. Some people even would compare it to like Jack and the Beanstalk. People would have to climb just to get even anywhere in this town. It had roads connecting through the sky. Houses were connected together. There wasn't a lot of privacy in this town, honestly. People kind of just did everything together. And they're okay with that. Because that's just what Greentown did. Its own weird freaking thing. And you know what? It stayed pretty freaking happy like that for a long time, so we were like, well, I guess this works. And that, my dear friend, is the town of Green. The village of Green. And how it came to be. And how White Town was kind of weird. They kind of spent a lot of money for no reason. What's some more town, like some more homes to White? I feel like there should be one more douchebag. His name was Chad. He was the first Chad. What did he do? He was a Chad. No, I still don't know what the meaning of the word Chad means. Is it a douchebag? Or is it a guy who's really cool? I don't know. But I will figure it out someday. I will find it. I do. It'll be great. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. No. Yes. Yes. Explain my concept. So, here, I will go over the story again because it kind of got kind of epic here. So this is the bridge between Red and White Town, okay? White Town are the prissy boys over here who are like, psh, we've got the nice straight roads and we got our nice main plaza here. And this, they like making towers, okay? They don't believe in back balconies. They're like, psh, we gotta see the ocean. We don't need those stupid balconies like freaking Red Town over here. And they were making this road to make a bigger town, and then they realized, but then we won't have our cool plaza anymore. So they stopped construction on it, but they still kind of had this road. But they kind of just, well, they kind of cut it off. And Greentown was like, well, we're still here. So they just kind of expanded. And so they're still expanding. And they're kind of weird. They're kind of like the chaos between the big tall towers of White. And then over here is Red Town. Red Town is the cool town. They're like the cool chill bros. Are like, you know, we're weird, but we're fine with this. And all of theirs have balconies, and it's like they've got pretty small, fat houses that are kind of weird and kooky, but they're fine with that. They're like, you know what? Let's just play and let's just have a good time. And they got like their town goes in a circle to help connect them. So unlike White Town, where it's like, they're just all together in this plaza, and there's this weirdo out here, and here's Mr. White. The house right here is just all by himself, being all like, suckers. I've got the ocean all to myself. Red Town is like, you know what? Let's all be together. Let's do this, yo. We're all in this weird place together, and they're like, yeah, our roads are kind of crap, but it's the crap that we love. We have to put up with roads like this right here that zigzag for obviously no reason at all. But it's beautiful. Yeah. And Greentown's like, you know what? We're gonna bring these two towns together. And they're kind of like the port town between White and Red Town. And they're like that weird, awkward third cousin that you somehow know about. And you don't really realize it, but he kind of just is there. And he's still your family. And you kind of maybe leave him out of around, you know, most family reunions, but he's still there sometimes. Whether that's a good thing or not. And yeah, that is the tale of White Town, Red Town. Well, yeah, White Town, the Red Keep. Call it the Red Keep. I keep forgetting the names I give to them. The Red Keep and Green Village. And yeah, that is my story. Thanks for coming. Oh man. But yeah, I know Red Town's definitely my favorite. I like these guys. They're the punks. Yeah, no, White Town's got its perks too. Like, they're very I just like tall buildings. So what if we made a tall building around your tall buildings? Said Mr. Chaz over here. He changed his name to Chaz, by the way. Because he was too cool to be a Chad. He was a Chaz. And so everybody in White Town became really freaking upset at this. They're like, what the freak? Why would you do that, man? Oh, there's a flying town? I believe if you want to do that, you gotta do, like... I don't know, I haven't messed around with this in such a long time. I have no idea how this works. I don't know if they've added it yet or not. You can do that. I think I found something cool. I know, right? Darn, those from the inside were going mad. Freaking Chaz over here being like... Yeah. I'll give you guys, like, you know, some leg room, okay? So he was kind of nice and he, like, got rid of that. That way people could still kind of move kind of freely. He still put that there, though. He's still a bit of a douchebag. But he's still got this beautiful, like, white, like, pristine, like, wall around White Town. People got really freaking upset at this. And so a lot of people left White Town because of it. They're like, why would you do this? That was like the whole point of White Town. Was that so we could see the sea with our freakishly tall towers. And so you might think, well, why don't they just build taller towers, you know? See over everyone. But Chaz was also kind of like the rich boy in town, too. And he was like, frick no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't be taller than me. And it was just a big, tall contest. Like, see who has the tallest tower. Like, even Rapunzel would be like, ah, freaking get on with it already. Yeah. Chaz was weird. And everybody in White Town hated him, which was saying something because the people in White Town hated a lot of things, mainly themselves. Why? Because they just wanted to see the gosh dang ocean. And people like Chaz over here were ruining that freedom that they had. And it was terrible. Because honestly, White Town wasn't too bad. They... You know, but they got caught up in trying to be tallest there was. And Chaz was not helping things. He did do that, though. That was cool. But for the most part, Chaz was not helping. And the town people, they knew this. Chaz was making their town once a beautiful, white, pristine, luxurious area weird. And they didn't like weird. They liked their pristine, beautiful architecture. Their home was looking more and more like something out of Attack on Titan. Why would this man do this? Why would Chaz do that? Oh shoot, I'm sorry. I disabled links from my for Twitch because I kept getting weird links. Or at least I got some from like one of my last streams. I was like, yeah, I should probably stop that before it becomes a thing. I should go back into my settings and see like I can do that. But yeah, I want to do more. I didn't realize that they had done so many updates. Like, again, this game, like, I originally was like, oh yeah, like maybe 10 people played it, like had done reviews on it. I was like, oh shiz, nobody's ever gonna play this game. I'm just gonna be the weirdo who actually owns Townscaper. And then out of nowhere, I was checking on my store page one day. I was like, Holy over 10,000 reviews on this? You seen this, Chaz? And Chaz is like, yeah. You wonder how I could build this many walls? And then I would ask myself, why didn't I even ask? Yeah, it's so nice. I kind of like, I've never done like a story with it. It makes it a lot more interesting. Because usually you just mess around and you're like, I'll make just a really freaking weird tower. I'm keeping that. Chaz was just that kind of guy. Freaking messing up White Town over here. What the frick is wrong with you, Chaz? Oh yeah, Chaz was getting some looks now. He was getting some really mean looks. Like, people were like, alright, at least we can kind of see over here, right? You know? There's still that area. But Chaz is like, nah, fam. Nah. We doing it even more. And so, bit by bit by bit, every day, a little bit more of White Town would be covered up. You ever see The Little Mermaid 2? It was like that. It was... freaking Ariel had put... the gate... No. It was King Triton who put the gate around the castle to keep his granddaughter out from the mermaid world. And Chaz was doing his weird self-righteous journey of doing that. He was this weird drunken builder. He just kept building. He just kept building. And little did they know was that Chaz was originally from Red Town. And if people had found out about that, oh boy. A war would have started. And so Chaz was kind enough. And he left a small little snippet right here. Right directly into Red Town, because he was just that big of a douchebag. And everybody in White Town was flipping their minds. They're like, bro, all we can see now is those weirdos over in Green Village. And freaking, what did I say? The Red Divide. No, not the Red Divide. The Red Circle. The Red Keep. That's what it was. But Chaz didn't care. Chaz didn't care. In fact, he would have kept building. But, well, they eventually took away his hammer. And he died. He died of a heart attack. Because there was a witch in town that actually used her heart to attack him. And so he literally died of a heart attack. Yeah, things were getting really weird in White Town. People didn't know what to think of themselves anymore. They were once the town of just like, hey, they had really tall towers. But did they really anymore? Did they really have that? So they poked a few holes into the big tall building. They poked a few more holes. And a few more. Then another. A bit more. They kept poking holes into this tall tower that this weird Chaz man had built for them. He'd spent his entire life building these big white walls around this village. And people were sick of it. They didn't want the Chaz village. They wanted the White Town. The White Town that they'd grown up remembering. I know, right? No. He wasn't rich. He just had a lot of brick on him. And he was just a crazy guy who just happened to have a lot of brick on him. And a lot of free time. And people were like, what the how's he building so much? And Chaz was like, well, you see here. But they never listened to him long enough to actually know what it was, so they never knew. Chaz. They never knew what was going on in that weird man's head. And so, yeah, this was the town of White Town. And a lot of people left before they could really see its glory. But in the end, Chaz actually made something really beautiful. And look at all those cool, amazing holes. Holes that represent the holes that White Town had built for itself. Holes that maybe if they'd given Chaz a chance, wouldn't have been there. Wouldn't have needed to been there. Chaz had been a part of the Red Keep for a long time. A small town. He was sick of seeing those stupid tall towers every day. I know. It would be so cool if they added like other stuff. Oh. I mean, it's still cool. It's like The Sims, but you just want a house? We give you a house. You don't want to do the inside? It's all good. We give you chill, good time. I know you can't do straight roads, but life isn't full of straight roads. It's full of weird diamond-shaped ones. And so that right there, my friends, is the tale of White Town. But I have yet to finish my story of Red Town. Red Town? Well, Red Town was Red Town. Red Town was a big happy family. But they're like, what if we made our circle even bigger? This big, bright circle. A red circle of life. And honestly, for a while, it seemed like a pretty good idea. So they cut down one of the bridges between them. One of the roads that kept them connected. And so they built. They built. And they built and they built and they built. And they kept expanding and widening and widening. But it wasn't really a circle anymore. It was strange, tangled oval. And Chaz, back when he was alive, saw the sad things happening over in Red Town. What had happened to it? Had become deformed like he himself? Oh my gosh! And then the Orange Town! Because Green Town's just the weird town. But what if they did get together someday? What if there's like... Oh my gosh, okay. I gotta make Orange Town like right here between the bridge. Oh my gosh, that'd be beautiful. Alright, but I gotta finish the story for Red Town at least. Green Town's the weirdos. They can chill for a bit. The Red Town. No, we gotta finish their story. Red Town started making really big, fat houses, okay? Like, I'm talking huge hunkin' the junglers. I'm talking like the fat boys of the fat boys. And they are gosh dang adorable. Like, holy frick. Have you seen these houses? And they had like big old patios in the back. Like, some of these houses were even fancier than Mr. Red Barn over here. Red Barn that kept them safe for years. And they're like, shh, Red Barn? I think we're doing pretty alright for ourselves. They're the pretty chill folk, but they're like, you know what? I mean, hey, we're not doing too shabby ourselves. And Mr. Barn over here, it's like, but what about me? It's kind of sad. But people of Red Town just kept growing. And growing and growing and growing. And they didn't mind. They were weird. And it was okay. What, you think something terrible will happen? Like, oh no, Red Town fell into chaos? No. Red Town was fine. But the mayor wasn't. The mayor was very sad. All he could see now was that big thing of White Town. And he was mainly by himself. And all he had was his friend, Dave, We lived in a shack next to him. Dave was a kind fellow. He lived right there actually. He and him, they went to each other's house every day. They spent long times just talking about life. And, Mr. Barn was like, you know, the townspeople here at Red Town, or the Red Keep, they don't talk to me as much as they used to. I remember when we first started this town, they'd come to me every day. And they'd talk about their sorrows and their worries. Sometimes they'd be angry at me, and sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes they'd bring me gifts. They'd sing stories. And it was fun. And then we would do all sorts of things together. I know he's not really a mayor, but he's kind of like the guy who just kind of guided their town. I don't know, they kind of just called him the mayor because they felt like that was just the thing they ought to do. He's just kind of the guy who helped them, led them along. Mysterious man who just did that sort of thing. And Dave right here listened to Mr. Barnes' woes day after and day after. And they drew close to each other. Chaz missed them. You see, Chaz, he was Mr. Barnes' little brother. He missed seeing his big older brother. He missed seeing him. Two brothers left their separate ways. Chaz was sick of Red Town and his brother, his big older brother, gained all the fame and glory. Everybody in town loved him. Why couldn't they have liked him, Chaz? Or, as he was known then, as Chad. But Chaz was cooler than that. Chaz was the unique one. Chaz was the great one. He was the one who was destined to be great. Wasn't he? The people of the Red Town, or of the Red Keep, just laughed at him. But Chaz took his anger out on White Town. He made that huge wall around those stupid tall towers. And the Red Keep just didn't really care about it. They're like, yeah, it's White Town being weird and tall again. Kind of annoying, but who cares? They're happy with their small, tiny houses. And honestly, the coolest thing for them was just they had a big old lake in the middle. They already had all the water they needed. Had this land over here, and man, the thing that made these two places happy was just the water they could see. And it was great. Dave and Mr. Barnes, they often worried about Chaz and his mental health. You could see it deteriorating over his last days when he made his greatest, well, accident. You see, he was up in this tower. He was going to finally make a really big tall tower. One to rival all those stupid douchebags in towers. And he was just going to make this stupid tower really freaking tall. Just for the sake of having it be really freaking tall. This nice long wall that was originally without the holes in it. He was going to make this stupid tall. That one just stupid thing in the middle. And it was the one place with the hole in it. So people always had to look at this tower, no matter what. If they wanted to have any sort of glance on the outside wall. But that's where the witch killed him. And gave him his heart attack. And his own heart attacked him. Mr. Barnes and Dave, they could barely believe the news. How could this happen to my brother? The town, I feel, has left me. Which Dave chuckled at this. Of course the town had left him, but his little brother had. It was tragic that day. The people, they mourned for him. And so they made one small, tiny, stupid tower. It wasn't very tall, but it was the tallest in the town. And they put it right next to Greentown. And it was also kinda the closest place you could get to. Next to the closest place you could get to Greentown. I'm gonna put it, like right here. Yeah. And this was for Chaz. This was the tower for Chaz. This was the Chaz Tower. And Mr. Barnes, he looked over. And every day, he'd go to that tower. A tower that would always remain empty. Except for the occasional visit from Mr. Barnes. But as Mr. Barnes would walk through town in the weird lanes that went around town, people would greet him and be like, Mr. Barnes, where have you been? You've just been in your house this entire time. We were getting worried about you. Mr. Barnes couldn't believe his ears. He thought the townspeople had just forgotten about him, but in actuality, they just got really busy and honestly, his house kind of blended in with everyone else's that they'd forgotten where he lived. I guess you could say that's kind of rude, but to be fair, the Red Deep, or whatever I called it, was a very strange and big place. And it didn't help that the roads kept getting more and more weird. And so, yeah. They felt bad, but they laughed it out. And they hugged it out. And every day, Mr. Barnes again went to Chaz's house for as long as he could. Chaz's tower. And Dave was still right here. Still right next to him. Holy frick, I think that's probably the greatest story I've ever told. That was so wholesome. Oh man, what should I do with them? Now, Green Village. Oh man, this is like the DLC, like added on side story, okay? You see, I mean, you could easily get away with just knowing about Whitetown and the Red Deep story. But then there was Greentown. And Greentown up to this point hadn't been finished. You see, the people of Greentown were kind of weird and kind of lazy in a way. They're like, yeah, we got our cool houses, we're good. They didn't have the willpower like Chaz did over in Whitetown. They didn't have the crazy kookiness like the people over in Redtown. And the Greentown people were chill. They were the Port Town. They could get away with it, okay? They were like, yeah, we got our weird houses. We're all together. Harmony and shiz, whatever. And that's cool. But I don't know why that happened. But they were still like, we've got some unfinished business. What can we do? Okay? Nobody's coming to our town anymore. Freaking Whitetown over here is all happy-dappy-dopey. Because now they've got, like, holes and shiz in their walls. So they don't need to come to our place in order to get their feel of, like, out in the ocean and shiz. And Redtown's pretty chill right now. Like, they've always been. Oh, Redtown's weird. So, Greentown. Oh, Greentown went weird. See, it started with a little home in the middle of town. And that little home in town was like, yeah, it's fine. We'll kind of do like what Redtown did, right? But that spot, it was pathetic. Look at that. Most pathetic little spot you could ever see. So they made it bigger. But then they're like, nah, it looks creepy. So they made it bigger. Then they're like, no, that's still pathetic. So they made it bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're like, that just looks like a stupid pool. A pool of water? I mean, yeah. And so then they're like, you know, we'll do kind of like what Whitetown did, and you know how their town had like a building in the middle? What if we did that, but cooler? And so they did. Big giant tower. But wait. What if Greentown could be even more connected? Okay? What if Greentown could connect each and every like border? Like you know the stars that you draw, you know, like the V, like that do. I know that's terrible, like you can't really see it that well, but you get what I mean. Like a troop, and then the troop. Yeah, like that. They're like, what if we did something like that, but it wasn't a star? Because that's too awkward to do with this kind of a building setup. We'll just have each other connected in a great, big, weird shape of life. And they're like, yo, bro, that do be kind of cool though. And so they did it. And thus, they became even more connected. Almost connected, like, in a weird, weird way. Like, they just couldn't get rid of each other, no matter how hard they tried. Which made trying to find out criminals in the city really hard, because they're like, we're all together. So if they couldn't find the criminals, like, well, frick. It's gotta be someone, right? They're like, yeah. So who? And they're like, boy, do you think we should know this, right? We're together. We're together like 24/7, but the housing situation kind of got weird. They didn't have the weird structural soundness like Chaz was, like, when he was around. They didn't have the strange quirkiness that, Redtown, or, yeah, the Redtown had. They just kind of went with whatever they could, and they're like, okay, this works. But did it really? They're like, yeah, this is cool. This is all connected, right? We're gonna be connected forever. But they're like a girlfriend who just can't seem to break off from her boyfriend. This game really annoying. Like, really annoying. Like, okay, I think we need to split up. I think we need to split up. Hey, what are you doing? I said I think we need to split up. But they just weren't having that shiz, okay? In fact, if anything, Greentown only grew even more connected. The buildings that were over here, they were like kind of the only safe spot, but even those were starting to get taken over. It was really sad. Why? Because people were gosh dang tired of this togetherness. Redtown was kind of cool because, sure, they were together, but they were also apart. They still had like their little patios to themselves. Whitetown was Whitetown. They're kind of they had to be together because the wall. In Greentown's just like weird, quirky uncle that just couldn't help himself at Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, he just had one too many turkey legs, as he would call it, and well, he began spreading the love to everyone. And people were not very thankful for it, as much as he wished they had been. And so, I kept going and going. And then they added weird stuff here and there, like, they're like, what if we did this? And added weird tall towers. Because of course they had to be quirky, like, a freaking, you know, quirk that they are, and be like, well, we added weird towers. But in all honesty, that's probably the best idea they had, because it honestly made things kind of cool. And they were like, You know what? Sure, why the frick not? It's kind of cool. They're like, frick yeah, we just totally knew it was gonna turn out that way. No, they didn't. And so they're like, this is all cool and all, but we need more pathways. So they're like, what if we're like a red town, over, like the Red Keep over here, right? We made patios too. And so they did. And so they had a patio in front of their tall tower. And they're like, you what, mate? You what, mate? Try and beat us now, you little schnubs. Red Town didn't give two schmitz about them. They're like, you what? Who are you? Again, they just couldn't help themselves. The people down below, I mean, there wasn't too many people down below. But they're kind of getting sick of it. They're like, yeah, like, see this guy right down here? He was like, what the frick, man? I can't really see shiz anymore. Can you guys stop? They're like, but what if we didn't? What if we didn't do that? What if we just... What if we made ourselves even taller? Right? And Whitetown was like, are you sure you want to do that? And the Green Village is like, bro, freaking you and your Chaz. And Whitetown was like, don't you dare frick Chaz. Chaz was the man. He was the man of legend. They're like, I thought you hated Chaz, though. Chaz did nothing for you. Chaz made your lives terrible. And they're like, yeah, we know. He did. Chaz made it really hard for us. He put this tall wall between all of us. But, you know, Chaz, he also showed us something. Life isn't full of tall towers. It doesn't need to be. We're all connected to this. And our perfect structure is full of holes. It's okay. Greentown was like, boy, aren't we doing the same thing? Aren't we trying to be all weird and quirky? Aren't we doing it? Are we doing it right? Green Village started having kind of an existential crisis after this. So they're like, frick it, we're making ourselves even taller. We gotta do this, guys. We gotta do this. This is our identity, right? We gotta do this. It's our last chance, right? We gotta do this. We gotta make ourselves even taller. This is life, right? We gotta make this weird tall towers, right? We gotta do this. This is our life now. This is what we were meant to do. And so they did that. And they made their tall towers. And it made sense. Somewhat. It makes more sense than some of their other previously failed experiments. And so they kept building out. And out, and out, and out. To the point where it just didn't make much sense anymore. They're like... how do I do this without it coming? Yeah, we'll get rid of you. Oh yeah. It's all coming together now. In Greentown. They looked cool as frick, let's be honest. They were like, we are the wall that is approaching. And Whitetown was like, yeah, good luck with that, mate. You sure you really want to do that? And they're like, yeah. Freaking pansies. You couldn't even go the whole way. You couldn't even go the whole way. Chaz was the Chaz. He was the man, the myth, the legend. We looked up to him. And people at Whitetown were like, yeah, I mean, sure, guy was cool and shiz. And we learned to respect and love him. But guys should also learn from mistakes and shiz, right? 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 What if we did this? Huh? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Wait. Cool. I like that. This is actually... I freaking love Greentown. Holy shit, this is the best DLC expansion I could ever hope to get. Holy frick. The weird things your mind comes up with at midnight. I swear to Christ. Man, I love my homies up at Greentown. My homeboys. No, it's funny. I only ever use the term homies on stream. Little life facts from yours truly. But it is quite a fun word. It reminds me of The Simpsons. Simpsons. I remember when that show was actually really good. And we got such classics as steamed hams. And we also got such classics as freaking Eat My Shorts and freaking I'm trying to remember. I mainly knew The Simpsons from The Simpsons hit and run games and like PS2 games, man. So good. So weird. So weird. I love how there's like a giant toilet you could go to. Like that you could drive to, that people need to drive to. And they'd actually crap in the toilet. Freaking technology, man. What if more games did that? Like, what if there's just... what if there's just more to the video games? Like, come on. Freaking, what is it? Saints Row? There's perfectly good market right there. And you're missing out on it. I thought you were supposed to be like the parody of Grand Theft Auto, but no. Simpsons beat you to it. Beat you to it years ago. Back when Simpsons was in their prime. You'll never beat the giant toilet that you could drive people to. Even Greentown knows this. Greentown knows this. And they laugh at you. Ah! So yeah, this is Greentown. That was the story of Greentown. Also, you know what? Actually, and because people in Greentown were kind of like, freaking, we are so sick of this stupid closeness. I can't stand this. But they couldn't really move to like Redtown and shit because they're like, nah, fam, those places are weird. Places be real weird. They're like, oh, frick. And so there's just a few weirdos who just set up their homes over here. They're kind of like Redtown 2.0 in a way, but that was actually a different town. That would be Orangetown. Now, Orangetown is really cool. I mean, Greentown was really freaking cool too, and heck, I hope to... Actually not. I'm gonna quickly finish up Greentown real quick. I feel like I could do more with Greentown. One more? Yeah! Then... Yeah. Or maybe not. Huh? Yeah. Nah, I like that. Or do I? Nah, that's too weird. Even for Greentown, they're like, nah, that's too weird. Like, well, we tried. But yeah, that was the tale. The DLC extra bonus content of Greentown. And I think it turned out pretty cool. Yeah, there's also some other birdhouses here and there. Kind of schmoobing on their own thing. Actually, this house is too big. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, why not? Actually, no, that house is kind of like in the middle of like... Yeah. That's cute. And then we'll put little... oh my gosh, that's so cute! Little steps! Oh my gosh! I know, Red Town is like... that we were the weird quirky ones. I thought we were the weird ones. And Greentown's like, I laugh in the face of you. Or that's at least what Greentown would like to think. Red Town is just like, we like being small and knit together. And Greentown's like, no, you gotta be big and knit together. Freaking back and forth, whoosh and glow. Felt and needle. Yeah. Pointing towers. Yo. White Town was like, oh my gosh, freaking shut up already. And Red Town again was just like, or Red Keep was like, yeah, we're just gonna keep to ourselves. I mean, we don't mind you guys, but you kind of are. You're just. I mean, you know you're doing something weird when Red Town, like Red Keep, is calling you weird. That was freaking Green Village, okay? Green Village was just like, just you know that quirky teenage, like like your quirky teenage brother who thinks he's so cool and quirky, and he's at that age where he's like, yeah, I'm cool, dark, and awesome. But then he goes back years later, and he's like, please don't ever let this come to light what I did here today. And of course you do, because that's just what you do. That was Greentown. Okay? That was Greentown. And Greentown was proud of it. You know, I'm surprised. These actually turned out really well. Man, okay. I'm like, I love this. I want to do. I have Greentown, I have Whitetown, I have Redtown. Now all I need is Orangetown. The bridge between them all. Greentown tried to do that, but then broke off because he was too sassy and cool. Whitetown tried to bring itself together with Chaz, but I mean, it is together. But and Redtown's just its own quirky thing, and Mr. Barnes finally found hope, and Dave's been with him all along, and Chaz was remembered finally fondly, and again, Greentown's doing its own. Well, Green Village is doing its own weird thing. But now there's gotta be Orangetown. But what makes Orangetown so special? What is so great about Orangetown? Because Whitetown's in a circle. Redtown's like, oh, small tiny houses. Greentown's together. Orangetown is right between the bridge between Whitetown. The once simple White House and the Red Barn. Simple, simple as they came. Back when they first started off. Just a simple bridge that separated them all. But then, that's when it happened. A path appeared. Path between the two. They didn't really notice it because nobody really went on the bridge all that often. The last person who had ever gone on the bridge, an aerial town. They love the sky. Oh, I like that. All right, let's do it. You see, and so the path started to grow, and grow, and grow. And again, the last person who had ever used this path to give you perspective was Chaz. Last person to ever go from Red Town to White. Well, from the Red Keep to the White Town. It's Chaz. Nobody ever went between the two. Because everybody was comfortable in their own houses, right? Right? And so, that's when Orange Town came along. They're like, we see you, Green Town. We see you, White Town. We see you, well, Green Village, White Town, and Red Keep. And we raise you. We raise you a whole village. And they're like, yeah, Green Village? You think you're so cool? You think you're together? And you're high and mighty place? No, 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 no. And so, it started off small. You see this orange house? This is their town mayor's house, okay? This, from this fanciness of the White House, to the green barn, to whatever the frick Green Village has. This was the orange hut. And this was her village. So it grew. Up, 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 up. They went up. They're like, oh, you think you went up? No, 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 no. This is up. That was tall. And everybody looked up one day, and they saw a huge tower. But its bricks were unstable. So it began to crack, 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 all the way down. Was that on purpose, or was it not? Townspeople never really knew. But Orange Town, they lived way up high. If you wanted to get there, you see this ladder right here? You see this ladder? You would have to freaking climb that sucker, okay? Get through this tiny little hole right here. And then blam! Freaking blam! Into the orange aisles. And Miss Sassy Sassafras down here in her orange hat. Her name was Olive. Her name was Olive. Olive in her orange hut. She was proud of her town. She was like, you know what? Checkmate on all of you. They're like, it's just a freaking tall house, okay? What's so special about that? No, 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 she said, no, she said. Nah, she said. And instead of making her town on the ground, like, even Greentown did that, okay? They started off with, you know, being on the ground, and then they grew up, okay? Right? And she's like, what if we were just up from the get-go, okay? And so, she in her orange hut had the small pathway from her house, the tall ladder, and then Orange Town. And Orange Town was proud as frick to be Orange Town. Towers upon towers lined its walls. And it's like, okay, But again, what the frick is so special about... No. Shut up. Shut up. It kept growing. And everybody was dumbfounded. Freaking Olive down there was proud of it. She was like, Chaz? Chaz could only dream of such a town as this. Chaz. The name. A historical name that changed each and every single aisle forever. Chaz. And they're like, how could she, this weird, strange woman, change it all? She's like, I can't. You think you can do that? I can't freaking climb that tall. That much? That's why I stay down here in this small, tiny orange hut. No. I just have the money for this. And they're like, no, that's fair. That's fair. And so she kept using that money. And they're like, who gave this woman all this money? And she was like, I ain't telling. And so tell she did not. Tell she did not. Which was very hilarious to the people. They're like, but you had to have gotten it from somewhere, right? 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 And that was the mystery. People were just intimidated by this woman. She seemingly had all the money one could ever hope to have. She was building this town from seemingly nothing. From seemingly up from in the sky. Like she had rained down on them like freaking Superman building a town. Fresh from the isles of nothingness. From the clouds in the sky. Like this should have been a White Town. The people of White Town said, that should have been White Town. It was incredible. It kept growing. And people kept wondering again, where did her wealth keep coming from? Because again, you gotta imagine trying to build this sucker, okay? This is not an easy structure, like, structurally speaking, this is not easy. You have to go all the way up that stupid lawn tower just to even build some of this, okay? Like, people were both impressed and also like, this is just... How does this town even work? How does this town even work? It was so big and tall that it was starting to glitch out the system. I mean, wait, what? It was so big and tall that it was making them question everything they had ever known. And those questions kept rising. Rising as tall as buildings she had built. And kept going and going. But she didn't dare stop. She was like, psh, think I'll stop? Think I'll stop there? You think I'll ever stop, you idiots? I will keep going. I will reach the sky. And did she reach it? I mean, I guess we all live under one sky, so in a way, she kind of did in her own weird way. And so she kept building. Or at least using her vast amounts of money. You know, same thing. But who kept building this? It wasn't Chaz, obviously. Chaz had died long ago. It was, well, his body was still in the tower over in the Red Keep. Back home. Back where he had once lived. So, who was building this town? Who could have built so high up like the once great Chaz had done? Was it Olive? No, Olive. Olive was just a weird old lady who had too much money and money on her hands. I don't know. It had to be someone special, someone with a great skill set. Who was it? Why? It was him. Him who? Well, I mean, look at this guy. How did he even... Oh my gosh. He glitched the system! He was just that much of a bad lass, okay? He was just that cool. He didn't have a name, though. He had come into Olive's life many years ago. A man with amnesia. A man who did not know where he was from. A man who didn't know his story. He had not come from the Red Town. Well, the Red Keep. Nor had he come from White Town. And he wasn't quite there for the Green Village. No. He was a man who came from nowhere. Which is why Olive fell for him. Fell for him deeply. Because she too came from nowhere. She too was part of none of these villages. And she loved him dearly. She was a very strange old lady who believed herself to be at least 20 years old when she was actually like well into her 60s, almost 70s. And his name was Dale. Or at least that's what she called him because he liked to drink a lot of ale. And so she made the funny nickname of like, your name should be Dale. Dale who loved ale. He often got mixed up for Dave because him and Dave looked a lot alike. For those of you wondering who weren't there for him, Dave lives right next to here. He's best friends with Mr. Barnes, the owner of the Red Barn. And, yeah. So, but funny enough, him and, like, Dale and Dave, they never met each other. So it was like, how did that come to be? I don't know. But it just kind of did. And it's just kind of an inside joke. Inside joke. That Dale and Dave were, like, somehow related. Or, like, they were half-brothers. Because they look so much alike. And they had such similar names. But again, Olive was the one who, named Dale. Because Dale, when he first came to Olive, was just but a young boy. A very young boy. A boy without any memory as to who he was and why he was. That didn't... He was a very quiet man, too. He didn't really speak all that much. He'd just kind of... just be like... Yep. He had really thick eyebrows. You know, like the thick eyebrowed guy in films who's like really quiet? That was Dale, okay? He was that guy. And people loved him, honestly. A lot more than Olive. Again, Olive was that weird lady who didn't have to walk up all those gosh dang freaking ladders that she herself was like, oh shuckers. You see, young people these days, they should have, better legs and stuff. Run like, me, who's just an old lady. They can work it out there young. And everybody hated her. Why was she their mayor? Why was she? I guess back when she was younger, she was actually quite kind. Again, she was the one who brought Dale to them. She was the one who made Dale the man he was. So people often ask Dale, like, who was she? Who was this woman back when she was younger? He often laughed and said she must have been a beautiful woman. Dale would smile at these comments. Maybe she really was. Maybe she really was a kind woman at one point. The townspeople sure didn't know. Nobody really knew. Olive. Olive her life. She was just seemingly known by the townspeople as the cranky old lady at the bottom of the long ladder. The weird lady who lived in the orange hut. People didn't know what to think of her. And they never did. They never really asked her. They never said, oh, how are you doing? They just always passed her house whenever they went up. Because that's just what you did to get into the Orange Isles. It's strange how it's called the Orange Isles when they're all together. But, I don't know, that's just the... You have to go. It's almost 2 a.m. here. I don't blame you. I should have gone a long time ago too. You know what? I'm gonna leave it here for now. Because I need to get sleep too. So I will go with you. And this was the end of the Orange Isles, the Red Keep, White Town, and the Green Village. I'm tired. But yeah, holy shiz. This actually turned out really cool. Well, I had a really good time with you guys. Holy shiz. I don't know if I'll ever do another one of these. Like, if I'll ever play Townscaper again. I don't think I can ever beat this. But maybe I will someday. Maybe someday I'll come back to the Orange Isles and the Red Keep, the White Village, and the White Town and Green Village. But until then, tonight was a good night. And here was the creation of them all. Alright, maybe I'll make more stars with Townscaper. This is so much fun to do. I didn't think I would have this much enjoyment. It was just kind of like, what if I did this? And the story was born. I think this is the most proud I've ever been. Normally what do? I do a bunch of things. I do a lot of story-based games, like I've been playing Ori, and I want to do more like visual novels and stuff, like more story-based games. But I really like chill games like this where I can just talk. So if I can find more games like this, I'm not like the biggest fan of like The Sims. I don't know, but just like nice chill games, like think Animal Crossing and stuff. Like I don't know, maybe I should play Animal Crossing for you guys. I haven't done that, and I have Animal Crossing. You should do that. So yeah, but yeah, that is it for tonight. And thank you so much for coming. I love having people around, and I love talking to you guys. It's so much fun because I would never have had the idea for the Orange Isles if it weren't for you. So thank you so much. And I definitely would not have stayed up this long. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. And I'm gonna try and do more stuff. And I'll do more probably weird stuff like this. I don't know. Sometimes I just go on a tangent. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You made me happy. And I'll see you around. And as always, I will see you next time. Until we meet again. Bye.